Hi, this is Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours. Thank you so much for joining us for our Move to Panama Q&A live stream. This live stream is all about you getting answers to your questions about moving to and living in Panama. We'll get started in just a little bit. We've still got people that are pouring in. But first, I want to talk about what I advertised, and I've got some really good news for you. So we have something called our Online Panama Relocation Guide, which is like a home study course on how to move to Panama. And I wanted to tell you about some of the updates that I did for September. Every single month, every single week, I update the Online Panama Relocation Guide, but I wanted to tell you about some exciting updates that happened so far this month. I guess this will be my last day to make updates. First of all, we added a new immigration attorney, and his fees are better than all of the other immigration attorneys. We have several attorneys that we recommend, but the new attorney that we recommended, all in for one person to get their visa, is only $1,400. That includes everything. And if it's a couple, you just add another $700. That's the best price you're going to find anywhere in Panama. So this information's in our Online Panama Relocation Guide. Some other really good news is for a long time, there's been a ban on bringing birds into Panama, like parakeets or big birds, but it's been lifted. The ban on getting birds here has been lifted. So all of you that have a pet bird that you've had with you for years and years and years, you can now bring it to Panama. We have details about how to do that in the Online Panama Relocation Guide. Some other updates I did that are really good news is I found another source for short and long-term rentals that are readily available in Boquete. They're pretty hard to find in Boquete at really good prices, but these are really good prices. So that's another update for the online guide. And this has been an obstacle for a lot of people, but I finally found a solution. Some people are not able to get their medications in Panama, prescription medications. They just don't have them here, or the price is way too high. And they'd like to be able to get them from like Amazon Pharmacy and get them shipped to Panama because the prices are so much less. So more good news. I found a doctor in the United States that will do telemedicine with you to fill your prescription and get it sent to Amazon Pharmacy. And then you'll have it delivered to your mail forwarding place in Florida so that it's delivered right to your house, and it will save you a ton of money. And he only charges $30 for a telemedicine consultation. That's the same kind of price you'd pay for a doctor here in Panama. So it solves the problem of getting your medications that may not be available in Panama or that may cost too much in Panama. His information's in the online guide. Also added many other updates. I added a new private tour guide. We have a new place where we're doing our monthly PRT meetups. We do those about 8 locations simultaneously throughout the country. So it's a great way for you to meet people and make friends in Panama in the area where you live. And just one more update. There are several updates, but one other update. We've talked before, and we've even interviewed Pero Air, which is a charter company, and you can share a charter to get you and your pets to Panama, and the pets don't have to go in cargo. They don't even have to go in a cage. I found another company that has even better prices. So that's also in the Online Panama Relocation Guide. So all those are really good news. So some other good news is that I love doing these Q&A live streams, and we always get a good turnout, 200 or 300 people, sometimes more. But I know many of you have questions every day. When they pop in your head, the questions just come up every day. And it would be nice for you to have a source on how to get that information very, very fast. So we have that source available to you. It's called the Online Panama Relocation Guide. It has hundreds of different categories and topics, anything from getting your pets here to buying a car to getting a driver's license to opening up a bank account. Everything you need is in the Online Panama Relocation Guide. But also we have a private Facebook group where there are lively discussions every single day Let me pop it up here on the screen. Yeah, here. So you would go, just click on online guide on our website at Panama Relocation Tours to get more information about it. So also we have a very lively Facebook group with more than 7,000 members. Most of those people have already moved to Panama. So they're always sharing information about a great restaurant they found, or a new place to get their hair done, or another source for a rental, or they just heard about, a great deal on someone that's selling a car. So it's a way for you to get answers to your questions every single day. It's also a way for you to start learning about living in Panama from people that are already living in Panama, that moved to Panama based on our proprietary training that we have on how to get here the right way. So the good news is we've made all of these changes just this month, and I do changes every single month, but the price for the immigration attorney is significantly less than other immigration attorneys charge, plus all of the other great news that's in the online guide. So check out, the good news is the online guide has answers to all of your questions. You don't have to wait for the next Q&A live stream. Of course, I'd love for you to be on it, but you don't have to wait. The answers are readily available for you in the Online Panama Relocation Guide. I update it every single week, and I send out emails and post on Facebook, on our private Facebook group, any changes that I make. So those are all good news items. There is one not so good news item that I want to share with you also. I just found out yesterday that we have several hospitals in Panama that they do direct billing for Medicare Advantage and other U.S. insurances. But as effective yesterday, Pacifica Salud has told clients that they're no longer offering direct billing, but it's not a problem. There's still the Panama Clinic, which we interviewed just a few weeks ago. They offer direct billing. It's an excellent hospital, mini-med hospital, and their 14 clinics. They offer direct billing for Medicare Advantage. And then on the western side of Panama, we have Hospital May Lewis and Hospital Cherokee also offer direct billing. So just because one hospital doesn't, you have plenty of other options that do to take care of your medical needs, so you don't have to pay upfront any money at all. So let me tell you how this, I see a lot of new names that I haven't seen before, but I see a lot of very familiar faces in our chat window over there. So for more information about the online guide, just go to our website at Panama Relocation Tours and click on the tab at the top that says Online Guide and read about all of the things that it includes. And you can see, just this month, of the things that I've added to it that have made it even more valuable. You just pay one flat fee. You don't have to pay extra every single month. There's no annual fee. You pay one fee. You get lifetime benefit to both the online guide, all the updates, and our private Facebook group. So make sure and check that out. So the way that it works for this Q&A is I'm not going to be able to click on your name and put you up on the screen. We're going to have to type your question into the chat window, and you must put 3 question marks in front of it. Otherwise, I won't know that it's a question. You see Buster back there? Yeah, he's back there. You see? There he is. There he is. There's that Buster. I gave him a bunch of treats and dinner before it started, so hopefully he'll be a good boy. So anyway, you're going to have to type 3 question marks in front of your question, and then I will pop it up on the screen just like this one and read it and answer it. So Woody wants to know, are there medical facilities in David that have direct billing? Yes, there are. Currently, there's 2 hospitals that have it, both Hospital May Lewis in David and Hospital Cherokee in David. Now, Mini-Med Hospital is opening up another hospital in David, hopefully by the end of this year, and then that will be another one that will be offering direct billing. And Maria says, will the telemedicine doctor be willing to work with Canadians? Yes, he can work with anybody, and he'll send your prescription to Amazon Pharmacy, and then from Amazon Pharmacy, it's sent to Florida. Even if it's needs to be refrigerated, they send it to Florida, and then it's instantly flown to Panama. So you get your medications very quickly. It solves a big problem for people on getting their medications at a good price. So Bonnie wants to know, do you have to be 60 to qualify for a visa? My husband is set to retire at 58. The rules for getting a pensionado visa is you have to be at least 18 years old. So come on down. You don't have to wait until you're 60. Come on down. And Cynthia says, is it worth it to pursue the pensionado visa even if you won't be ready to move for a few more years? Cynthia, honestly, I think it is worth it to go ahead and get the pensionado visa while you qualify for it. And the reason I say that is because, we've got this one immigration attorney that his fees are $1,400, and that includes everything. It includes the translations, it includes notarization, it includes your visa card, it includes everything. But 3 years or 4 years from now, those prices might be significantly more. Even Panama could change the rules. Right now, you only need $1,000 a month in lifetime income to qualify for the pensionado visa, or for a couple, you only need $1,250. We don't know what the rules are going to be next year or the year after that or the year after that. So go ahead and get the visa while you qualify. If you can, come down and spend 5 days in Panama, it takes 5 days to get your visa. The rules are that you do have to come back at least 1 day every 2 years to maintain your visa. So you need to keep that in mind also. And what is Panama's infrastructure like? Internet, water, and electricity? Well, it depends on what city you're in, because, just like if you were to say, what's the infrastructure like in Canada? There are some places that are super remote and people are off grid. There's other places that are very high tech. So the answer is it depends on where you are. For the most part, the roads are great. Water's great. Electricity is going to go out once in a while. But I don't even have a generator. It's not that big of a deal. And in most places you can get a fiber optic, but if you can't get fiber optic, now that Starlink is available, you're going to be connected just about anywhere you are, even if you live off grid. Carol says, I was on your 320 tour. Will I get a Panama relocation guide included? Yes, when you come on a Panama relocation tour, then you get the online Panama relocation guide for free. So you'll be getting that. Do you have any dental service recommendations? I absolutely do. In our online Panama relocation guide, there's a section called healthcare providers, and we have that divided into categories like cardiologist, dentist, oncologist, gynecologist, whatever that the specialist might be. But we have a list of recommendations that are in the online Panama relocation guide. How do you return every 2 years? Is there a stamp in your permanent visa? So when you return, there's not a stamp in your permanent visa. Your permanent visa is just a little card, like a driver's license. It's like 3 inches by 2 inches. So there's no stamp in there. What they do is they put a stamp in your passport. The other thing is they're going to scan your passport when you go through immigration, so they know when you come in, and they also scan your passport when you leave the country, so they know when you left. And will you have time during the relocation tour to apply for a pensionado visa? So during your Panama relocation tour, there's absolutely no time for you to apply for a visa. Plus, we're traveling across country, so that won't work. If you want to apply for a visa, you're going to have to come in either 5 days before your tour, or you're going to have to stay 5 business days after your tour to apply for a visa. What are the requirements for relocating with pets? So the requirements for relocating for pets are pretty stringent. If you're flying on a commercial airline to bring them in, then you have to, 30 days before, you have to make sure they're updated on all of their vaccines. And then 10 days before your flight, you have to get an international health certificate for your pet. And if you're in the United States, that has to be authenticated by the USDA. If you're in Canada or different country, it has to be authenticated by the Agriculture Department. for your country, and then it has to be re-authenticated by the Panama consulate where you live. And all that has to happen 10 days before you travel. The only exception is if you're flying on a charter flight or if you're driving to Panama, then that health certificate can be up to 30 days old. I know people do all the time, but I thought that I read that it's illegal to ship prescription drugs into Panama, even your own. Nope, it's not. You can ship them in. Now, you can't ship in narcotics or things like that, opiates. You can't ship anything like that, but other medications you certainly can. How many hours per day does it rain on average in the rainy season in Boquete, and how long is the rainy season? So the official rainy season starts in Panama in April and it ends at the end of November. And we're going to get rain a little bit on, most of those months. The 2 months that get the most rain are going to be in September, October, and November. And it could rain for 30 minutes one day, and it could rain the next day. It might rain 4 hours, or the day after that, it might rain 1 hour. So there's not just a certain amount. If you're interested specifically in Boquete weather, go to a website called boqueteweather.com, and they actually have the monthly rainfall, the wind speeds, all those statistics are going to be on that website. Boqueteweather.com is where you can get the stats on that. How much does a friendly nation visa cost with a work permit? So the cost for a friendly nation visa is going to depend on which visa you're getting and also which immigration attorney you use. If you're getting a friendly nation visa by buying real estate or by setting up a CD, then the price is one thing. And if you're getting a friendly nation visa by setting up a corporation that's going to issue you a labor contract, then the price is going to be completely different. We have a breakdown of all of those prices or the different options in the Online Panama Relocation Guide. So the answer, like so many things in Panama, is it depends on exactly which visa you're getting. How long must I leave the country before I return if I'm traveling on a tourist visa? Well, first of all, there's a misconception. There is nothing called a tourist visa. You don't get a visa when you're a tourist. All they do is stamp your passport when you come into the country. If you're from North America, you're allowed to stay for 180 days. Technically, you're supposed to leave for at least 30 days before you come back. However, if you're crossing at a land border, they're going to be pretty strict about you being gone for 30 days. But if you fly out of Panama and then fly back in, they'll usually let you back in if you've just been gone for 3, 4, 5 days. But you need to know that sometimes when they notice this pattern of doing what we call a border hop, they might not give you another 180 days whenever you come back. We had someone just last week that they were here as a tourist and they left for 5 days and they came back and they said, well, where are you staying when you come back? And they showed them the Airbnb that they got for 3 weeks. And they said, well, we're only going to give you 4 weeks whenever you come back. So they didn't get the whole 180 days. So that's something to be aware of. If you're planning to be a border hopper, you might not get another 180 days. Todd wants to know, I don't have a pension and I don't draw Social Security. Will income from an IRA qualify for a pensionado visa? Unfortunately, Todd, no. Income from an IRA would not qualify for the pensionado visa. However, if you could invest that IRA money into buying a lifetime annuity that pays at least $1,000 a month for one person or $1,250 for a couple, then the annuity can qualify you for the pensionado visa. So perhaps you can convert your IRA into an annuity so you could qualify. Peter wants to know, do you recommend certain vaccinations when going on a tour? Nope, no vaccines are required to come to Panama. No vaccines are required to live in Panama, so it's not necessary. So Cynthia says, how easy is it to establish medical care with a specialist like a neurologist? Super easy. You don't even need a referral from a doctor. We have a list of neurologists in our Online Panama Relocation Guide. You just pick the one that's closest to you, send them a WhatsApp. I have their WhatsApp number, which is the best way to make an appointment or communicate with people in Panama. Let them know when you'd like to come in. And if you were to contact them today, they said, well, can you come in tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning? That's probably what they would say. So that's how quick and easy it is to get an appointment. Paul says, does the immigration lawyer take care of your criminal background check too? Unfortunately, no. The immigration attorney in Panama takes care of everything that needs to be done in Panama, but it's going to be your responsibility if you're to get all the documents necessary to apply for a visa. For example, your criminal background check, your income verification, if you're married, certified copy of your marriage certificate, and all those things have to either be authenticated or apostilled. So you'll have to do that before you come. And we highly recommend that they can't be more than 6 months old when you apply for a visa. So you might want to start about 3 months before you're coming to Panama to get a visa to gather those documents. Once you have everything gathered up and before you even get the authentication, scan them or take a picture of them and WhatsApp it or email it to your attorney so they can look everything over to make sure everything looks good. And if the attorney gives you the green light and says everything looks good, then you get the apostille or the authentication. You may want to also, once you get that, then you could scan it again and send it to your attorney or put it in a FedEx or DHL envelope and mail it to your attorney so that they can get everything has to be translated into Spanish before you apply for a visa. So they can get all of that done before you even come to Panama. So do I need to talk to an immigration attorney prior to coming to Panama to make sure I have everything? Absolutely. You need to talk to an immigration attorney before you come. Let them know your specific situation and if there's any things you plan to do when you're in Panama, because you may be thinking you're going to get the pensionado visa, but if you plan to work, then they're going to say, well, you need to get a different visa. So you need to have that conversation with the attorney. Also schedule time on when you're going to come. Set a date on when you're going to come to apply for a visa. And once you know that date that you're going to apply for a visa, then you can work back from there on when you're going to get your documents to get the visa, knowing that they can't be more than 6 months old when you apply. But if you just show up in an attorney's office and don't have an appointment in advance, they might say, well, we're booked out for 2 weeks and you're going to have to wait. So you don't want to run into that situation. Will the new attorney you're recommending help with the driver's license too? Absolutely. They help with your driver's license, your cedula, opening a bank account, all of those things. They're going to help you with it. They also, for no extra charge, they're going to review a lease for you one time. So we do highly recommend when you come to Panama, just rent for at least the first year, maybe 2, or maybe forever, but don't rush into buying anything. And they will review that lease. It's always a good idea to have your attorney review the lease. And next question. Sorry, the questions are scrolling off before I can get to them, but I'll get to them as fast as I can. So Janet says, I arrive on Saturday. My private tour starts on Monday. The guide says airport pickup is included in the private tour. Will my guide pick me up on Saturday, even though my tour is not until Monday? That I'm assuming that they will, but that's something you need to ask your private tour guide. Private tour guides are not our employees. They're independent contractors. We don't make a penny on a private tour. They don't pay us a commission. You just contact them directly. You pay them directly. And so you need to talk to your private tour guide about that. Reminder, you need to put 3 question marks in front of your questions or I won't know it's a question because there's other conversations going on over there on the side. So Cynthia says, get a pensionado visa before renting a home, returning to the U.S., pick up the dogs, and then go back to Panama to avoid the 180 days out of the country. So you don't have to be out of the country for 180 days, that you can't be in the country as a tourist for more than 180 days. One thing for sure is I would not recommend bringing your pets to Panama until you have a visa. I wouldn't recommend shipping your car to Panama until you have a visa. Don't send a pallet of stuff or shipping container full of your household goods until you get a visa. The reason I say that is sometimes a visa is denied. You would think that, oh, well, you've got the money, you make the income to be able to get the pensionado visa, but sometimes people get denied, and it's usually because of something that's on their criminal report. So if you do have anything on your criminal report, if it's not completely clean, I highly recommend that you get a copy of your criminal report now, even before this week, get a copy of your criminal report, send it to any immigration attorney and say, what are my chances of getting a visa based on what's on this criminal report? And they'll say, you're not going to be able to get a visa. If you have a felony, you can't get a visa. If you spent time in jail, you can't get a visa here. So talk to an immigration attorney before you bring dogs or ship any household goods or a car to Panama. So next question. David says, my son is 23 and dependent on my son. Can he come with me in a retirement visa? I'm a widower. So I'm thinking you're saying your 23-year-old son is dependent on you and not on your son. So your 23-year-old son, if he's dependent on you because of disabilities that your son has, then there's a possible that your son could be added as a dependent. If your 23-year-old son doesn't have any disabilities, then he would have to get his own residency visa. He wouldn't be able to be under your retirement visa. I would recommend you talk to an immigration attorney and give them more details about it. Lisa says, can expats use public hospitals or is it only for emergencies? My husband is diabetic and has high blood pressure. Will those prevent us from getting private insurance? So both diabetes and high blood pressure will prevent you from getting private insurance unless you go with a company like Mercantile, which is an international health insurance based out of Panama. They will insure people that have pre-existing conditions, but all the other insurance companies, what they do would exclude those pre-existing conditions for at least the first 2 years. Then after that, they're only going to cover it at 50%. What you need to do is go to my website and search in the top right-hand corner, type in Mini, M-I-N-E, Med, M-E-D. MiniMed has something called the Expat Health Membership. It's only $20 a month or $220 a year, and they do not exclude pre-existing conditions. Now, right now, it's only available in Panama City in 15 different locations, but they're expanding to other locations this year in Panama. So that would be a perfect situation for diabetic care and high blood pressure, because you get unlimited doctor visits, you get like 100 different labs that you can get as often as you want throughout the year. X-rays includes 3 specialist visits a year. If you're in the emergency room and it's less than $500, that's all included for just $20 a month. So MiniMed Expat Health Membership is the solution. Life Changer says, is it true that they don't accept the Panama dollar or coins in Boquete? Well, first of all, Panama doesn't have any paper bills. For more than 100 years, Panama's used the U.S. dollar throughout the country. They have U.S. dollar bills and they have U.S. coins. There are some Panamanian coins that were made in Canada, by the way, but there's no paper bills. So mostly they use the U.S. dollar in Panama. If my granddaughter is 12, can she live with me and attend school while her mom is applying? So, while her mom is applying for what? If her mom is applying for a visa, then she could be her mom's dependent whenever she gets a visa. Your granddaughter is going to be able to live with you as a tourist for only 180 days out of the year. She's not going to be able to live with you indefinitely in Panama. She'd have to get a visa. And you have to be at least 18 years old to get your own visa. So she'd have to be a dependent of either you or your daughter. Can I sign up for a PRT for a certain date and be on the backup list for earlier date? Absolutely, you can do that. A lot of people do that. I think that our Panama relocation tours are sold out until April or May of next year. I didn't look this week to see what it is. So a lot of people do that. They sign up for one in April, May of next year, but they get on the backup list for all the other dates to be notified if we get an opening. And we do get openings every single week. We get an opening for one reason or another. We just got one today. Someone said they just found out their daughter's getting married the week that they're supposed to go on a tour. So they had to cancel, and we sent it out to our backup list, and just like that, it was taken up. Michelle says, I'm looking for a place where the mountains meet the sea in a non-touristy, less expensive area. I want to live up high, but watch the sunset on the ocean. Where should I look? Because it sits east and west. You need to go to our, we have an article on our website, and it's spelled Torio, Torio. It meets, there's beaches, but there's big mountains that are right behind it. So you could be up in an elevated position and look down at the ocean. So that would be your best place for it. We also have 2 videos about that area. So if you go to our YouTube channel for Panama YouTube.com, Panama Relocation Tours, and just type in Torio, then you can watch 2 videos and see how absolutely gorgeous it is there. It's also super affordable compared to other beach communities. One second. Okay. So Donna says, can you explain how the 25% airline discount works for Canadians who have an e-cedula but do not live in Panama? So the 25% airline discount, if you're flying on Copa Airlines, even if your flight originates in Canada, you get 25% off an airfare to come to Panama. Or if you're living in Panama, you get 25% off airfare to go back to Canada or other places in the United States. For other airlines, the 25% discount only applies for flights that originate in Panama. And the best way to get that 25% discount is to use one of the travel agents that we recommend in the Online Panama Relocation Guide. They'll get the best fare and the discount for you. Okay, Vic says, PRT family, what are the gasoline prices in Boquete and vicinity? What's the average fee for a real estate agent for long-term rentals in the Cherokee province? Well, first of all, real estate agents don't charge you a fee to help you find a rental. That's paid by the owner of the property. And I don't know the gasoline prices in Boquete right now. I'm not there, so I don't know what the gasoline prices are. Groceries. Are the stores comparable to Publix or Safeway? If you go to Reba Smith, which is in Panama City, and they have one in Coronado, then it's definitely comparable to Safeway or Publix. Also, there's some other stores like Super 99. Some of them are small and some of them are quite large, but Reba Smith is definitely going to be comparable. And I'm interested in cities that are a bit rural, but within an hour of Panama City. I need to be fairly close to the city for healthcare purposes. So there's plenty of cities that are going to fit that. One that I would highly recommend would be Cerro Azul. We have a great video about that on our website. That's CerraAzul. It's about 45 minutes into, it's very, very rural, but it's only about 45-minute drive into Panama City, maybe 1 hour drive into Panama City. It's also about 15 minutes to drive from Cerro Azul to get on a subway to take you right into Panama City. And there's even some healthcare clinics that are close to that area. So that would be an ideal situation for you. Do you offer shorter tours if we want to focus on just a few cities? Absolutely, and thank you for asking that. On our website at Panama Relocation Tours, just type in private tours or under the tours tab, look at our private tours. That can be a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day tour for a specific area. So if you just wanted to focus on beach areas, you might do a private tour of maybe 2 days around the Coronado, Gorgona, San Carlos area. And then you might want to do 1 or 2 days over in the Azora and look at beach communities like Playa El Rompillo, Luray, or Pedicey, and then you could just check out beach areas. Same thing goes if you just wanted to check out Panama City with private tours in Panama City, or we have private tours in Bocas del Toro on the Caribbean side or up in the highland areas of Valle, Boquete, or David. We have private tours throughout the country. Just check on that, click on that tab, and you can see where it is. Private tours about $250 to $300 a day for 2 people. It includes all the transportation and your lunch, so it's also super affordable. I read recently that rules have changed and that people they're on a pensionado visa will now be able to get work permits. Is that true? The answer is probably not true. And the reason I say that is we have people that have a pensionado visa that just this year, just in the last 6 months, have tried to apply for a work permit. And out of the 5 people that applied, 4 of them were denied because they couldn't justify why they needed to be working in Panama and take jobs away from Panamanians. So it's if you want to make sure you're going to get a work permit, you need to get a friendly nation visa. If you have a pensionado visa, you might be able to, and you might not be able to. I know one lady that has applied over the last 2 years. She's applied with 3 different attorneys to try to get a work permit. She's been denied every single time. Do you have any available tours December the 5th? You'd have to look on our website at Panama. I don't think we do, but look on our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com and click on that Book a Tour tab, or just type in tour dates in the upper right-hand corner, and you can see what dates we have available. If the tour is sold out, get on the backup list because we'll notify you if we get an opening. Lisa says, I haven't heard about an annuity qualifying for pensionado visas. So we just need to go to a private company and convert a savings account into an annuity. There's a little bit more to it than that, Lisa, and we actually have an article about that on our website. The article is something like how to get a pensionado visa if you don't have a pension. So type that into the search and you can see more details. The annuity has to be a lifetime annuity. That pays at least $1,000 a month for one person, or $1,250 if it's a couple applying together. And it has to be an annuity that can't be cashed out for it to qualify. I have details about all of that in that article, and I have specific details about which companies to go with, the letter that would be sent in to immigration to verify that you have an annuity. All that's in our online Panama relocation guides. What kind of TV and internet service can you get there? DirecTV, Dish, or in English? So the answer is it depends, like so many things in Panama, on where you live. What I do is I have an Amazon Fire Stick, and then I have apps on my Amazon Fire Stick for Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube, some other things and apps. And so you have to use a VPN that you log into the VPN first, and then you go to that app. But some people are into sports stuff. Some people want to, that's not me. Some people want to watch news. I don't have any news apps, but you can get all kinds of apps by using an Amazon Fire Stick. We did a YouTube video about that last year. So check out our YouTube channel and look for the video about how to watch US and Canadian TV when you're in Panama. Any idea of annual home property taxes in Boquete and Volcan. So property taxes are based on the value of your property. And a lot of times here, the properties are not revalued. So it's whatever you paid for it. Like my house that I had in Boquete, I sold it, but I paid $120,000 for this house that on a coffee farm with, beautiful views and big greenhouse and everything. And so my property taxes initially were nothing because it had a tax exemption. But when the taxes actually kicked in, they were only $300 a year. So it wasn't very much. Now, there was another house that I was renting, and I talked to the owner, and it was a more expensive house. It was like $350,000, $400,000 house, and his property taxes were $650 a year, just to give you a ballpark figure. Tanya says, I will be applying for a pensionado visa along with my spouse. I'm military, retired, disabled veteran. For my spouse, is there a requirement for the spouse different than the same? So if your disability payment from the military is at least $1,250, then you and your spouse can apply together. But if your military pay is not, has to be at least 1,000, but if it's not 1,250, then your spouse hopefully has a pension also, and you can put those two together to be able to apply for a visa. Can someone get a visa if they are a digital nomad? There is a visa that's called the digital nomad or short stay visa. However, it's not a very good visa. So there's other options for you. The digital visa is only good for 9 months, and you can renew it one time for another 9 months, and then you have to leave Panama. A much better option is a friendly nation visa, where you set up a corporation that issues you a labor contract so that you can stay in Panama. I have an article about that on my website at Panama Relocation Tours. At the upper right-hand corner, search 4 ways to get a friendly nation visa, and it's option number 4. It explains that in more detail. So it would be perfect for someone that's a digital nomad. No question, just wanted to say thank you. We're now registered with Lakeside Medical. Thanks for the info you provided on your live stream basis. Well, that's great. I'm so glad that you're registered with them. By the way, Lakeside Medical is one of the companies that does direct billing for Medicare Advantage and other U.S. Insurances. I think they do some Canadian insurances also. It's free to register with them. And then you know that when you go to the hospitals that they work with, you just show your card, your Lakeside Medical card. You don't have to prepay anything. Thanks, Jackie. That's great. NZ property taxes are 5,000. Texas property taxes are really, really high. If you have a house that's like $500,000, you're probably going to be paying $5,000, $6,000 a year. So property taxes are another way that you can save a lot of money in Panama. Also, house insurance. My house that I had in Boquete, my insurance was only $205 a year. The insurance on my car, which was full coverage, was $600 a year. So all those things are going to save you money. And also the online guide that I talked about earlier. The online guide is another way that you're going to, knowing that you're going with the right attorney that's going to be affordable, knowing that you're going to go with a real estate agent that doesn't play the net listing game. It's another way that you can save some money and also save frustration. You don't have to deal with frustration. Plus, like I mentioned earlier, the online guide is a way for you to get answers to your questions immediately. The answer is going to be in the online guide. Plus, you have access to our private Facebook group where you can ask questions all day, every day, and get answers just like that. Not just from me, but from a lot of other people that already live here in Panama too. So be sure and check that out on our website. It's PanamaRelocationTours.com. And then click on the tab at the top that says Online Guide. So Marcella says, I thought in Panama you can buy a house, you never pay property taxes. So if you buy a house and it's less than $120,000, then you're not going to have property taxes. But if you buy a house and it's more than $120,000, then you will have property taxes. Now, Panama used to have, for 20 years, Panama had a property tax exemption for any house that was built in 2012. For the first 20 years, it had no property taxes. Then after that, it had really low property taxes. But the laws right now is only if the house is less than 120,000, do you have no property taxes. So Bonnie says, so you need to be collecting your pension to apply for a visa, correct? Or can you apply anticipating? So for you to apply for a visa, you must show that you're already collecting your pension. They'll want to see some bank statements, even to show that it's been deposited into your account. You have to already be collecting it. Same thing with that annuity. If you apply by an annuity, you have to have already received, I think, at least a couple of months of that $1,000 a month payment to qualify. What will you guess are some of the common reasons for expats to move to Panama that end up moving back to the United States? Two reasons, the two main reasons that people move back. The number one reason is some kind of health problems, and maybe some serious health problems, and they just want to be closer to family to help them get through any serious health problems that they have, or perhaps they want to be able to use an insurance that they have in the U.S. or Canada, especially Canadians, because they have free health insurance. So many of them move back for health reasons. The other reason that I would say is the number two reason that people move back, well, there's two more. One is because they miss their grandkids, or maybe they didn't have grandkids when they moved to Panama, then all of a sudden they have grandkids, and now they want to be the grandma and the grandpa, and they move back for that reason. The third reason that people move back is because before they moved to Panama, husband was working all the time, wife was working all the time. They saw people in the evenings a little bit and on the weekends, but they didn't spend a whole lot of time together. All of a sudden they're in Panama and they're together 24/7. And maybe the wife decides she doesn't like being around him 24/7, or he decides he doesn't want to be around her 24/7, or they just, it's just, they decide Panama's not right for them. So in those cases, sometimes he'll move back to the US and she'll stay here, or she'll move back and he'll stay here. So they end up getting a divorce because for one reason or another, living together 24/7 isn't working out, or Panama isn't working out for one of them. The next question from Marcia. I'm coming on the Panama relocation tour November 25th. Can I get the telephone number for the lawyer you're recommending prior to the tour so I can get my documents ready? Yes, if you send us an email to info@Panama Relocation Tours, once you've made that final payment for your tour, then we'll be glad to give you that attorney information so that you can go ahead and get started on getting your visa. And Dana says, my wife and I have our temporary visas. The next time we come to Panama, are we able to enter as a resident, or do we have to wait until we get our permanent visa? With a temporary visa, you can go through the resident line at the airport. But you also don't have to have a round trip ticket. You can come to Panama on just a one-way ticket. Let me get another drink. All this talking gets my throat dry. Okay. Does a certain amount of money in the bank qualify for a pensionado visa? Unfortunately, no, it doesn't qualify for a pensionado visa. But with a friendly nation visa, if you deposit $200,000 in a Panama bank into a 3-year CD, then that qualifies you for the friendly nation visa. The good thing is, even if you do that, if you meet the age requirements, then you're also going to get the pensionado discounts. The age requirements are 50 with the friendly nation visa, 55 for women and 60 for men. So you can just put $200,000 in a 3-year CD at a Panama bank, and you're still going to get the discounts. Michelle says, I read the list of discounts for people over 55, and they are fabulous. They really are. Do I have to have a pensionado visa first to get these discounts, or is it for everyone over 5? It's not. It's for all Panamanians over the age of 55, but for foreigners, you have to have your permanent visa before you qualify for any of those discounts. So you can't just come to Panama and get those discounts. Sorry. Noah says, I'm a 27-year-old veteran wanting to explore and live in Panama. Do you recommend moving for a young man and his wife? What I do recommend, Noah, is that you come and explore Panama. Before you say, I'm going to move to Panama, I would say come and spend at least a week or two in Panama. Check out the country, maybe come on a Panama relocation tour, or just explore it on your own. But check it out first and see if it feels right. And if it does, then come on down to Panama. Bella says, will the hobby with the potential to make money disqualify from getting a pensionado visa? For example, starting a YouTube channel, writing a novel considered work. So the way that it works with the pensionado visa and the work permit, if you are selling any products in Panama or selling any services in Panama, or if you get a job in Panama, then you have to have a work permit. And you usually can't do that with a pensionado visa. But if you're making money by selling stuff on Amazon, or if you're making money with a remote job that you got on, then, or writing a novel, then that's not going to disqualify you for the pensionado visa. So Vita says, both my husband and I are disabled veterans. Is it fairly easy for veterans to assess health care? And what towns have positions to take the veteran FMP? So the veteran FMP, which is a foreign medical program, you need to know that only qualifies for service-connected disabilities. The towns that offer that are always going to be a private hospital. And there are several different hospitals, I think 4 different hospitals in Panama City. There's also 2 hospitals in David that you would be able to get access to the FMP with direct billing, so you don't have to pay up front. And Cheryl says, just had a criminal background report done in the States for work. What form of authentication is accepted to apply for the pensionado visa? So if you got a criminal background check, and it has to be an FBI report if you're in the United States, or RCMP if you're in Canada, so they can get it authenticated at the Panama consulate that's nearest you. Reminder, it can't be more than 6 months old when you're applying for a visa. Any progress on medical cannabis? There is progress. It's available for people that have epilepsy or people that have terminal cancer, extreme situations, but it's not going to be available for just general use. Is it possible to have a monitored YouTube channel for those with a pensionado visa? I don't know what a monitored YouTube channel is. Maybe you mean monetized YouTube channel. So you can do a monetized YouTube channel, but I don't know what a monitored YouTube channel is. Cindy says, do you recommend buying or leasing a place if you plan to snowbird 6 months out of the year? I recommend that you just rent for at least the first year or two. And then if you decide that you really, really like the area, you really like the place, that gives you time to find maybe a great deal, then you might want to buy something that you lease out when you're not here. But don't rush into buying. Just wait for a while. So someone asked a question and it already rolled off the screen, is if you put down a deposit for Panama relocation tour, do you get access to the online guide? The answer is no. You get access to the online guide after you go on a Panama relocation tour, but not before. If you want to get it before, you can go ahead and buy it before, and we'll give you a $200 discount on your tour. Is it possible? I already clicked on that one. If you don't have Medicare and no pre-existing conditions, do you know the ballpark price of insurance in Panama? So we have an article on our website. Type in health insurance options, and it has a list of all the different insurance options that you have, and also a link to a brochure about the insurance. So the insurance is priced based on age. So if you were to get the family medical plan and you're between 60 and 69 years old, the price is $117 a month. So that's one ballpark figure. If you're younger than that, then you can see that article to find out what the price would be. If you're older than that, then you can see that article to find out what the price would be. But figure $120, give or take, if you're between 60 and 69 years old. If you have a pensionado visa, it's possible to eventually switch to a friendly nation visa if you want to get a work permit. It is, but and that's actually what I had to do. When I first moved to Panama, I got a pensionado visa, but I didn't plan to start a tour business, but I couldn't do this business with my pensionado visa, so I had to switch. So the process is you actually have to renounce your pensionado visa. It costs about $500 to renounce your visa. Then you have to start all over again with brand new criminal report, brand new attorney fees for you to be able to get the other visa. You can't just switch to a different visa. So if you think you want to get the work permit, you should go ahead and get the Friendly Nation visa. The most affordable Friendly Nation visa is the one where you set up a corporation that issues you the labor contract. You can see more details about that on our website at Panama Relocation Tours. Just type in 4 ways to get a Friendly Nation visa, and it's option number 4. Cynthia says, if you have a pensionado visa, possible to eventually switch. I think I just did that one. Sorry about that. You can't switch to a different visa. You have to renounce it and start all over again. Is it true I must temporarily turn in my passport during one of the many phases of applying for a pensionado visa? It's true. You must give them your passport. It will be out of your possession for just a couple of days. They will give you a certified copy of it that you can carry around with you and show, just in case you're stopped by the police. No question. Thanks so much for answering the insurance question. You're very welcome. There's so many questions that people have. And I know it's a big decision to move to Panama. It was a huge decision for me too. And I didn't have Q&A calls that I could go get on back when I moved in 2010. I didn't have a resource that had a list of how to do this, how do you get a driver's license, how do you get your pet there, what are my insurance options. I didn't have any of those things when I moved to Panama. And that's one of the reasons I created the Online Panama Relocation Guide, because I knew that having a resource like that available to you would alleviate the frustration. I knew it would save you money. It would help you avoid mistakes of picking the wrong immigration attorney or the wrong real estate agent. So that's why I created the Online Panama Relocation Guide and Panama Relocation Tours, just to pave the way, give you a roadmap to make moving to Panama so much easier. So George says, if we do a private tour, would we qualify for the Online Relocation Guide? Yes, you would. You get the Online Panama Relocation Guide, and then it has a list in there of who all of our private tour guides are. You also get access to our private Facebook group, where I'm in there every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. I'm in there answering questions. So by getting the Online Panama Relocation Guide, instead of waiting for the next Q&A call, you get your answers every single day. So lost my mouse here. Peter says, is it better to get an eSIM or get a SIM card when you arrive in Panama? So if you have the capability on your phone, you can get either one. You can get the eSIM or SIM. I prefer a company called Tigo, Tigo. And if you go to any one of their offices, they can put a SIM in or an eSIM in. Are developers constantly building to provide more availability? In some areas, they're building more properties. In other areas, it seems to have slowed off a little bit. So Sam says, what's the maximum limit for the family medical plan? It appears the maximum insurance would be $50,000. Yeah, it would be $50,000, but insurance, medical care is so affordable here in Panama that that's going to go a really long way. If you want to jump it up and get something that's going to cover like $4 million a year, if you think you need that, then I would recommend that you go with something like Worldwide Medical or Mercantile. Both of those have $2 million, $4 million plans. The prices are going to be more than family medical, but it's going to cover a lot more things. It's going to have a much higher thing, and it also covers you overseas. It's not just insurance for Panama, but when you're traveling, it's going to cover that also. So, do you ever sleep? Not very much. I usually go to bed at midnight, and I'm usually up by 7:30. Is Boquete getting a better clinic? So Boquete is getting a better clinic, and I've heard rumors, but I don't have all the details yet, that they may be getting another private hospital in Boquete soon. As soon as I know, you guys will all know about it too. Can I get my driver's license in David? So you have to start the driver's license process. You can get it in David. There's two ways to get your driver's license. If you go to a driving school in David, they're going to give you a book to study, or we have it in our online guide, all the information in English in the online guide. They'll give you a book to study. You have to take a written test in David, and you have to get, I think, at least a 7 out of 10 questions correct. And then you do a driving test, a parallel parking, pulling in and out of a parking place, and then you can go and get your driver's license in David. If you want to skip the test and skip the driving part, and you just want to make it easy, the easy way, then you'd have to go to Panama City to get your current driver's license authenticated at the embassy for your country. Then it has to be re-authenticated by the Ministry of Foreign Relations. And after that, you can take those documents and go to David to actually get your driver's license. Is there a reason why construction of homes and communities are being sold by non-Panamanians? No, if a non-Panamanian has a proper work permit and everything, then they're going to be able to sell houses in Panama. It's not a protected profession. There are certain professions in Panama that are protected, like doctors, nurses, accountants. There's some things that are protected, but building homes or being a real estate agent is not a protected profession. Besides Panama City and Boquete, where in Panama has decent sized, vibrant, growing expat communities that are worth considering? So that would be a whole lot of different areas. Of course, Bocas del Toro would come to mind. There's a lot of expats that live there. It's a vibrant and growing expat community. The Coronado, San Carlos area, Las Tablas, Chitre area. There's some in Pedasí. Also David. A lot of people are moving to David because it's so much more affordable. It's like 50% less than Panama City, but you still have all the amenities that are available there. So there's so many different places that you could go. Oh, it's already after 6 o'clock. You guys didn't tell me that we've already gone over 6 o'clock. I'm going to take a couple more questions and then I'll call it a night. Reminder to be sure and check out the Online Panama Relocation Guide on our website. You saw the list of just some of the updates that I did this month. New immigration attorney, U.S. doctor that will fill your meds for you and get them shipped to Panama. A new place to get affordable, and I'm talking very affordable rentals in Boquete. It's not on Facebook or anything like that. It's a private website. So we're always looking for ways to make your life easier and better to get to Panama. And then after you get to, once you get to Panama, to make it even better. Where's a good location in Panama City for a stroke patient with limited walking on a cane to be close to transportation, markets, fondas, clinics, produce within half a mile? So I would say El Cangrejo would be a really good place. Also, Villa Vista is another location. Is it true I will have to turn in my U.S. driver's license in order to get a Panama driver's license? Nope, that's not true. As a Canadian, should I get my driver's license authenticated in Canada? It's not possible. For you to qualify for a Panama driver's license, you have to get it authenticated at the Canadian Embassy in Panama City, which is super easy to do. Where's a good location in Panama City? Already did that one. Can you use a U.S. driver's license in Panama, or do you have to get a Panama driver's license? I'm glad you asked that question, Gary. When you first come to Panama, before you have a visa, you can drive with your foreign license for the first 90 days that you're in Panama, or until you apply for a visa. Once you apply for a visa, you can no longer drive with your U.S. driver's license. You have to get a Panama license. So I hope that answers your question. So I know I could go on all night long until midnight answering all of your questions, but that's going to make the replay of this video way too long, and my throat's getting dry from talking so much. So I appreciate so much all of you coming to our Q&A live stream. I hope you like the good news that I shared with you about some of the new things that I've added to the online guide. And if you are really serious about moving to Panama, I encourage you to get the Online Panama Relocation Guide, because it's going to answer all of your questions. You don't have to wait for the next Q&A live stream. The answers are there. You're going to get access to our private Facebook group where we have discussions every single day about things that are going on in Panama and how to get things done and new changes to different things. So check it out. Online Panama Relocation Guide on our website. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.